Welcome to The Preferred List, a podcast about the people behind the best wedding days. I'm James, a wedding filmmaker. I've spent years in the industry working alongside incredible vendors, and this show is all about real conversations with the ones who make it happen. Whether you're a vendor or a couple, you'll get honest insight, good stories, and maybe a little inspiration along the way. Let's meet today's wedding vendor. Brittany, how's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad to have you on. It's gonna be so fun. Brittany is the manager here at the Booking House, which is the venue we're in, which is so fun. So fun. We're gonna get into all things Booking House, managing, tours, helpful things for couples, helpful things for vendors. But before we do, like I said, we're here at the Booking House. The Booking House is an industrial, modern, chic wedding and event space in Manheim, PA, rich with character and history. Originally built in 1884 as the old General Cigar Company warehouse, the venue blends historic charm with contemporary style across 15,000 square feet. It's centrally located, and it's an easy drive from Philadelphia, Westchester, New Jersey, Maryland, and even New York City in under 3 hours, and it's serving both local couples and destination celebrations. It's a perfect spot for intimate gatherings or even events up to 250 guests. The Booking House offers separate spaces for your ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception, all on one property. And it's open year-round with their newly added Atrium. It brings an open-air feel without any weather worries. And with an experienced, caring team providing in-house bartending and coordinating, they're dedicated to make every detail seamless so you can enjoy an unforgettable day.
Love
Which is
it.
so fun because we've been here a couple times throughout the years, and every time we come, it's just such an easy day.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Welcome to our house. Welcome
I
back.
know, I know. And it's so fun too because we had our daughter's first birthday party down, I think
Yeah,
underneath the stairs.
downstairs. Right,
Yeah,
yeah, right
yeah.
below us here.
Um,
That's so fun.
and we were just like kind of reminiscing about that as I was setting up and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But Brittany, thanks for being on.
Thank you so much for having us.
I know
Thanks for
you're,
hosting.
yeah,
Yes.
I know you're kind of like standing in a little bit for all of the Booking House. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be a good
yeah,
representation.
yeah, hopefully.
I'll try.
No, but it's
Yes.
so fun. So just tell me a little bit about how
hmm
you fit into what the Booking House is now,
Yeah.
and just give me a little bit of backstory then too
hmm
on how this event space kind of came to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. So originally, obviously, like you said, it was a cigar warehouse built in 1884. The current owners, Michelle and JP Perrin, they bought it in 2012. They originally bought it. JP has a construction background, so they initially just bought it for just like warehouse space. But when his wife saw it and his daughter saw it, they were like, I don't know, there's something about this.
That's so funny that he bought it just to put stuff
He
in.
literally, yeah, he was like, "Hey, it's like run down." But I mean, it did look pretty rough. Like if you look at the photos when it was
Yeah.
when they first bought it, it was like you had to have that eye for it. But I'm so glad they did that. Yeah, and they renovated it, and we opened in 2014. So a little over 11 years we've been operating as doing weddings and events. And as you said, we do more than just weddings. We
Yeah.
do birthday parties. We've done, fundraiser galas, corporate stuff. So it's nice that it's very versatile. It's not just, one size fits all for everything. So we really like that.
Yeah, and there is like, I said a big number for square foot, but there is
Yeah.
literally, it's a maze. Like we
Yes.
were trying to find a good spot to film here,
Right.
and you were like, like mazing me around. I'm
Right.
like, well, we could go here, we could go here. There's like good spots everywhere, which is so
Exactly.
fun.
Yeah, and every space is like a little different, which is kind of fun. So it's like if you like more of the modern stuff, we have the atrium, the cozy fireplace right here. We love that. So yeah, so it's so nice that there's so many different places you can hang out and kind of suit it to your celebration. So they did amazing with renovations, kind of going back to that. Yeah, we love the space, and the atrium was an add-on about 2 years ago. So even though it was existing above the warehouse, they were like, well, we have something, we wanted something different, but we have this pre-existing space. Let's do something with it. So glad that they did that. So
Yeah, I am too. Because
yeah.
we were at a wedding here. We were, I was like, oh, it's 2018. It was 2022 that we were here a while ago. I think that might have been the first wedding that we had here, and the atrium wasn't a thing,
hmm
and I think it would have been a perfect spot
Yeah.
for that like November wedding that
Right.
was happening. But the wedding that we just did this year in 2025, I don't know when this is coming out, but 2025 we did a wedding here, and it was in the atrium, and I was like, Gosh, this space
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah, it's just I'm so glad that they did it just to do something different and unique. Like I feel like in this area there's really not another space like that.
Yeah.
So, we just love that it just adds a little something to it.
Yeah. And
Um
it's very different. I would say, like,
mhm.
you said it, but it's very, very different from the brick
Mhm.
kind of wood
Yeah.
pseudo
Mhm.
barn-esque kind
Kinda
of vibe.
rustic,
Yeah,
yeah,
more rustic.
industrial. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of get a little bit of both
Mhm.
in the same space, which is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, we love it.
So how do you fit
Yeah,
into this like kind of manager role? You're doing the
absolutely.
tour. Like, tell me
Yeah,
about like how you kind of got your start here at the booking
sure.
house, and then kind of where you're at now and what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So we opened in 2014. I missed the first year. I started in
Oh
2015.
man.
So I'm not like yeah the OG,
Yeah,
but so yeah,
basically.
yeah, we got it. My position, I'm director of sales and operations now. But when originally I started, I was a summer intern in college, so I knew I wanted to do something with weddings and events, and I'm from Lidditz area, so
Okay.
really close by. And I was like, oh, this like new venue opened up. Like, I'll just email them, see if they have availability for me to just be like an intern for the summer. And the summer was great. Like, I got to see behind the scenes. Just kind of, I was very part time, just kind of working, as needed help with the events. Kind of like what our site manager position is now, which is more of like our part time staff that we have
Gotcha.
just here for the venue. But I loved it. And I think that was like my junior year of college. And then I graduated in 2017 and I was kind of like, well, like I like it here. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I had a hospitality degree, knew I wanted to do something again with weddings. So there wasn't really like a full time position available. So I was like, how can I like fit myself into this? Like, how can I stay here? And I brought up in house coordinating to Michelle and JP and their daughter, Michaela, who was my position at that time. And they were like, "All right, like let's try it. Let's see what happens. Like let's just go for it. Like what's the worst that could happen, you know?"
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I'm so grateful that they took a chance with me. So that's kind of how our in-house coordinating service started. I was just like, let's just see what we can do, how to help couples, because ultimately we just wanted to enhance the experience at the booking house for the couples. So if we're like, we can help with setting up decorations, tear down, the logistics, like we just be a little bit more involved in their day to help take that stress off of them. That was kind of the ultimate goal and it's definitely evolved ever since. So
Yeah.
very happy with that.
Well, it's funny too because I feel like the hospitality major in you
Yeah.
would probably just like come up with ideas left and right
Right.
to like, again, like you said, increase
Hmm.
that overall experience
Hmm.
level
Yeah.
over the years. So I'm curious, like, how has it changed since you were kind of there
Hmm.
after year one to
Hmm.
now? Like, what are some of the biggest things that have
Yeah.
changed?
Yeah, I would say we lived and learned a lot. I feel like with any business, even though again I'm not the business owner, I'm not I missed the first year, but we definitely lived and learned a lot. Like just again how to enhance their experience. Like we were kind of just letting them figure things out. Like we didn't have like a preferred vendors list initially. You know what I mean? Just
What a great
sort
name,
I know, yeah,
the
that's
preferred
great, love
list.
that.
Sorry, shameless
No,
plug on my
I
own
love it. That was
podcast.
perfect. I tried
Yeah,
that. But yeah, just, like, kind of giving them the tools and resources just to, like, because most of the time, this is their first time planning a wedding, so they're
exactly.
like, "It's such a big event." Like, yeah, you plan small parties at your house or whatever, but it's just so much different, and you want things to go well and, trust the people that you're hiring to take care of things for you. So I just think definitely over the years we've enhanced, obviously again, our vendor list.
Yeah,
We've enhanced in-house services. So not only do we offer in-house coordinating, we also have in-house bartending. We started, I think, in 2021. So again, we just kind of saw a need for it, like just so it's cohesive, it's straight across the board, and
yeah.
it's
Well, you
just
guys
yeah.
know what to expect too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, again, with alcohol, it's sometimes a little bit of a liability. So
Yeah,
we want to make sure that's taken care of for them and, they know what to expect too. So I definitely think, yeah, over the years, we've just tried to, tweak things just to make it a better overall experience when they're coming here. Because if they're not local, they're traveling, they're having all their guests come here. We just want it to be memorable, unforgettable, and stress free. So that's kind of what we feel like we want to do.
yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I feel like it takes a team to do that.
Hmm.
It's obviously, not just you doing
No,
this.
absolutely not.
So
Yeah.
can you explain to me kind of like what does it take in the
Hmm.
back end to
Yeah.
have, the guests leaving and saying all those things that you just
Yeah.
mentioned? It's stress free, it was
Hmm.
memorable, it
Hmm.
was all of those things.
Yeah. So when I stepped away from coordinating in 2021, that's when Aaliyah came in. So she's our like kind of main in-house coordinator. We do have a few other leads and assistants as well. So it takes a village to to
Yeah.
kind of do what we do. So they kind of handle more of the coordinating side of it. But when couples initially reach out, I'm their first kind of contact. So I emailing them, kind of giving them information, kind of seeing what their vibe is, seeing if it's a good fit. And then I'm usually the one giving tours too. Michelle and JP, the owners, they are very involved too as well. Still up to this day, which is awesome because I feel like it just kind of shows the couples like how much we care, like even with our higher ups, still
Yeah.
being involved, whether that's giving a tour, JP's, fixing something that broke from a wedding, like they're just very involved. Michelle's amazing with her design eye. We're updating the bridal suite or something like that. Like we're just trying to keep things fresh.
Yeah.
So definitely takes a village. That's kind of like our main staff. We also have a bar consultant, Emily. She's kind of one of our main staff as well. She kind of meets with the couples to figure out what their guest count is, their bar menu vibes. So we provide like all the mixers and garnishes for their like mixed drinks.
Gotcha.
So we want to make sure, that's taken care of. It's not an afterthought. Like sometimes people are like, okay, you want a bar, great. But like we care about like how that can flow, making sure it's efficient. People are getting drinks in their hands. So I would say that's our main staff. And then we have an amazing team of part-time staff that are like our site managers is what we call them. They're here just to kind of make sure everything's going well during the event, restocking restrooms, kind of doing those little behind the scenes things that
Yeah.
maybe don't seem necessary, but they're very important. You want to make
Yeah.
sure
And
people are comfortable.
it's kind of funny too, because sometimes uh, people name those people as
Hmm.
like coordinators in some
Right.
way.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is kind of like that position of like
Mhm.
venue attendant in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like
Uh,
I feel like both are important. Like
yeah,
obviously
for sure.
coordinators are more involved, and every venue does it differently, which is totally fine to each their own. We just feel like when you're hiring an in-house coordinator, they're kind of solely focusing on you. Yeah, they know we have in-house things that they can behind
Yeah,
the
they
scenes
can
they can
also help.
yeah
Yeah.
exactly. Um,
Which I've been here when
yeah,
Aaliyah is like running around like a chicken with her head cut off, like
right.
just doing everything and doing it so well, which is
Exactly.
so fun.
Yeah, we
Um,
love it.
when you're in that process,
Hmm.
you're meeting with couples. I mean, super early in the process,
Hmm.
because oftentimes it's like they're picking a date. Maybe they have a date, or maybe they have a couple in mind,
Yeah.
but then they're trying to find, if they haven't maybe got a photographer to do engagement photos,
Hmm.
they're trying to find like, okay, what's the spot? Like,
Hmm.
where do we want to get married? What's the vibe? What's the style?
Yep.
I'm just curious, like, what's it like to meet couples
Mhm.
in that time frame where it's like
Yeah.
maybe they just got engaged like yesterday, or maybe
Yeah.
they're going to be engaged soon, or they're just like,
Right.
I don't know, it's just so early in the process. Like, what's that
It
like?
is. I think it's exciting. I think it's fun because they're excited. The venue's usually the first kind of stop they go to with vendors because obviously they need their date. So, they want to pick their place out. It's interesting. I feel like it's a little like everyone's a little different. Like some people, they like know exactly what they want. They've had their Pinterest board for 2+ years. They know the style and everything. And then we have some people that are just like, I don't know. We're just gonna see what we like, which is great too.
Yeah,
So I just feel like we just try to make them comfortable. To be like, okay, these are your options. Kind of what's your style? Like, because ultimately we want them to feel like it fits what they're looking for. So, and we're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. There's so many other great venues out there too.
yeah,
But I think coming in for a tour and seeing the place in person, just because I feel like pictures don't do it justice sometimes, and like seeing how big the rooms are,
yeah,
especially if you have a higher guest count, you're like, I don't know from pictures, I'm not sure about that. But I just think like getting them in the building and just seeing how excited they are to start planning. It can be like daunting a little bit as the person giving the tour because sometimes they have like just so many questions and you want to answer all of them, but then it's like information overload to them and you're like, I want to answer these, but like, is it too much?
yeah,
So it's just finding that like happy medium of, this is kind of the basics of what you should be looking for and like how we can kind of fit into your plans versus just like all of your questions. So overall, I would say going back to your question, it's exciting. I kind of like being that initial kind of person that they're meeting.
yeah. It's like it's just so early in the process. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
sometimes we're meeting with couples like a couple months out.
right.
Just as like a, oh, whatever. We want to do a video now. We didn't think we wanted it, but now we
Sure.
want it. I have to imagine like you're walking through that process like early,
Hmm.
and they may not even know like what they want at that
Right.
point at all.
Yeah.
Um, do you have advice for couples that are that early in the process that like, hey, if you're gonna go do venue tours,
Mhm.
like it's good to be in this mindset. It's good to be like thinking, you know,
Mhm.
how much should they be concerned about budget or
Mhm.
all these different things when they're kind of like starting that initial
Yeah.
venue tour
Yeah, I
process?
love that. I would say, yeah, I think just kind of when you start touring, narrowing it down to maybe your top 5 that you really like online, that you saw pictures from. Maybe you've attended an event or something there at the venue. I would say try to narrow it down because sometimes I feel like if you tour too many venues, all the details just kind of like flow together and you're like so confused which ones you saw.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, narrowing it down. I think budget is a great thing to talk about. I know sometimes money can be a little bit awkward for some people to bring up initially. And honestly, sometimes like being realistic with your budget. Again, this is usually the first time they're planning such a large event like a wedding. They don't really know what to expect, like how much things cost,
Yeah.
which is understandable. And I just feel like, and not that I know the answer off the top of my head, but yeah, just being able to educate couples more if they're willing to talk about it. Like I'm happy to have conversations about obviously what we offer in house, what that cost looks like, and then typical overall budgets that people that we see spend. So I think, yeah, if you're willing to talk about, money, definitely ask your venue tour guide. Just kind of see, this is where we're at. Is this realistic? Like, this is what we're like the vision we're going for. I definitely think that's definitely a helpful thing to ask.
Yeah, because I mean, you've done a lot of
Yeah.
weddings, right? I'm sure you've been a part of a lot of weddings
Yeah,
in different,
absolutely.
maybe different positions,
Yeah,
right?
different capacities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I every episode that I do that we talk about budget
Hmm.
in some way or another, it's like just have an honest conversation
Yeah.
and pick a real number
Yeah.
and then, you know, fit your stuff into that.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
I
because if you
agree.
don't, that you're kind of setting yourself up for
Hmm.
disappointment in some senses or maybe a little bit of a headache in another
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, but so they're reaching out.
Hmm.
What's the process? Like, how far in advance should couples be trying to find their venue, or
Yeah.
like, is there an ideal timeline?
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, some of it's just like, do you have the date available? But
Right. Yeah.
if
Hmm.
you do, like, what's that kind of process look like?
Yeah. So I would say, really, if you have a specific date, 'cause some people come in, they're like, I'm only looking at this date, which is sometimes like a Saturday in October that's been booked for 2 years. But, obviously we have something available. We're happy to work with it. But some people do have a specific date. So if you do, great. Some people are just looking at seasons. Then you obviously have more flexibility.
Yeah,
So I would say most of the couples these days are looking at like about a year out they're booking. Some are a little bit less, which we've kind of seen that trend, I'd say, in the last year or so. More like 6 to 8 months out, which we can definitely still make that work. I
yeah,
think the shortest time frame we've seen is about 3 or 4 months, which is it's doable. It can
yeah,
it can work, but it's just a little bit obviously more of a crunch time, and vendor availability can definitely be a
yeah. And I
little
think that's the thing.
difficult.
If you're really, really set on a vendor
Yeah.
of any category,
Hmm.
the sooner you book that person, the better.
Absolutely. That's what we always say. Cause sometimes at the end of the tour, they're like, well, like, when should we tell you if we want to book? I'm like, as soon as you know.
Yeah,
Especially again, if you want a certain date,
yeah,
like we just can't guarantee that it's going to be available tomorrow or next week. So
yeah.
I think, yeah, just the sooner you know, the better. Again, same thing. Yeah. Like you said, with the vendor availability, obviously some businesses only take one a day, some take multiple, a weekend. So I think just the sooner the better for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of that, do you guys, I mean, I don't think you have
Hmm.
multiple a day, but you're
Sure.
doing multiple in a weekend?
We do. Yes, we only book one wedding per day.
Okay.
So they get the whole building for the day, which is nice and it's just private access. That's obviously not open to the public or anything,
Yeah.
or there's not other, weddings going on, which is nice. So
Yeah.
it's just their group.
When you guys have done a lot of weddings, like I
Hmm.
said, um, and you've probably worked with like thousands of different vendors,
Yeah.
um, some of those being like repeats and
Hmm.
stuff, but from your vantage point as kind of like manager, like, and I'm sure maybe some of your other team would have a different perspective on this too. But what's it like to work with so many different vendors? Some being kind of like weekend warriors, some
Hmm.
being kind of like the part-time thing, some
Hmm.
being like this is my full-time thing, this is all I do,
Yeah.
and just like giving me a little bit of insight on like
Yeah.
what goes well and what doesn't go well.
Right. Yeah. I love that. Obviously, when we see a vendor list and it's like all of our frienders, we're like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Just because we know what to expect. I think that's the expectations is just a little leery when we're working with like new to us vendors.
Yeah, and it's
Not
not that they're not great.
exactly. I was gonna say not that we don't want to work with them. It's just like, okay, like you say you're gonna do this, but like let's see it
We
on
don't have
day
the
of.
track record. Yeah.
Right, right, right. And obviously if we've our vendor friends that have worked with another venue, or I'm sorry, another vendor that that's new to us, it's nice to be like, okay, like they're good, like you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Just and not necessarily good. That's kind of a very vague term, but just again, like they're team oriented. I
But
think
I've
that's
I've honestly had that before.
yeah,
For me, we
yeah,
had a couple that didn't really know us super well, and I guess didn't know the track record or something, and
yeah.
they like asked their photographer like, "Hey, they're good, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, we love them." So
I love that.
it is great
Yeah,
validation for you guys as a
yeah.
venue to
Hmm.
have like, oh, okay, yeah,
Hmm.
everyone else is saying what this person is saying
Right.
they're gonna do is gonna happen the way
Yeah.
that they're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like I was yeah, just gonna say, like we're very team oriented. Like it's a big group project that we're doing on a wedding day. So like
Yeah.
every person's part is so important. So just being able to like be able to count on the other vendors to just kind of do what they need to do. Obviously with coordinating, we are kind of more, managing that in-house. But yeah, I just think it's fun to work with new vendors, but it's always nice to be have those repeat vendors that we
Yeah.
love.
So I don't want you to like name
Oh
names or
gosh.
like tell me any specific story, but
Yeah.
I would love to hear from your
Hmm.
experience. Like, are there red flags that couples should be looking out for? Are there things that could
Yeah.
help them stay away from that potential not so great
Hmm.
vendor experience
Yeah.
from some of the stuff that you guys have,
Yeah.
seen?
Absolutely. I would say sometimes like just going with along with budgeting and money and stuff, if the price seems too good to be true, probably is. And again, not necessarily this isn't across the board true because sometimes people are starting out and they do price a little bit lower, which is great. But sometimes, yeah, if it's like, okay, they've been around for a while, I don't know. Just because sometimes you're getting, people that don't know what they're doing or it's more of a part-time thing for them. They just maybe the care isn't there. So I would say definitely keep an eye out for that. Um, People that maybe don't have the best reviews. I think looking at people's reviews is definitely a big thing
Yeah.
because if clients and couples had good experiences, they want to share that. And if you're not seeing that on there, maybe that's a red flag.
Maybe a red flag. Yeah.
Right. And just maybe like vendors that like overpromise things. Again, that's kind of hard to tell as like a couple kind of
I
looking out on the
know.
outside,
And
but
I feel like that's why I'm like so curious about
yeah.
different vendors' experiences because we have a little bit of an insider's view.
Yeah.
And like, I've been at weddings where I'm like, not sure about you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've had the same experience
Yeah.
in different times.
Hmm.
But it's like, there's not like a super solid, like cut and dry way for couples to realize that
Hmm.
beforehand.
Right. Yeah.
And the last thing that I want, even if they don't book me for their wedding video, I'm always like, just find someone that works because I want you guys to have a video. I think
Yeah.
it's really important.
Right.
But I'm like, how do we keep them from these
Right.
bad experiences?
I
And
know.
I just don't know if there's a good way
Right.
outside of like, hey, check the reviews, see what
Mhm.
people are actually saying about these
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
Do they have a track record? Are they, you know, current on all their stuff?
Yeah.
Is their last like wedding film on their website from 2014 or is it from
Right.
2024?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. I just yeah, I don't know if there is like the right answer to be able to get like what's in our brain to their
Yeah.
brains, but yeah, I definitely think just kind of that's why like a vendor list is so important. I feel like from a venue standpoint, offering that to our couples because from our perspective, like you don't pay to be on our list. It's like if we have a good experience with you, you offer a good experience to the couples. That's how you get on the list. So that's why I feel like a lot we recommend kind of leaning towards that to when they initially start planning. Um, but obviously, again, it's ultimately up to them at the end of the day. But I think that's a nice starting point for a lot of couples, and they appreciate that, especially when I mention that on tours. Like, okay, like that's good. Like, it's good to know. Like, you would personally recommend them, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I have this like, man, you guys have such a hard spot in the market
Hmm.
in terms of like how your perception is,
Hmm.
because Joe Schmo could be enjoying themselves at the reception and have a bad experience with any vendor
Yeah.
not associated to the booking house, and then he would be like, "Man, the booking house is terrible, blah blah blah. I had such a bad experience, blah blah blah." And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I don't know. It could be like the DJ was a complete jerk
Hmm.
and has nothing to do with the booking house,
Right.
but they are at the booking house, so
Hmm.
it's like bad experience, booking house.
Absolutely. We've run into that. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not good, like you're
Yeah.
saying. Like we've gotten a review like the chicken was dry. Be like, okay, thanks so much for your feedback. We didn't do the
Yeah.
food. But and then sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, the food was amazing. We're like, thank you so much. Like this is the catering team. But people
Yeah.
just associate, like you're saying, they're like, this is the whole venue. Like they're doing the photos, they're doing the catering, they're doing
Yeah.
everything, which is understandable as a guest. Like you don't need to know that it's all separate.
Right,
But
but it's just it's such a weird because like
yeah. Yeah.
you're building a brand.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a way that you want to present yourself,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
like you kind of live and die in some ways off of vendors doing a good job at your
Right,
venue.
right. I think that's why we're like so like we're kind of particular. Like that's why with like our vendor list, like we're just like if they don't do a good job, like we're not going to put them on the list. We're not going to recommend them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's again it's a whole group project, and everyone's just kind of looking at us.
Yeah.
Which no, it's all and everyone is usually very amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it is kind of it's like a weird position to be in because you want to obviously help out and kind of cover those spots if a vendor is lacking on a wedding day because yeah, at the end of the day, we're kind of putting our name on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even your decision sometimes too.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll jump in when needed, and that's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So what are you hoping that couples are experiencing and
hmm
feeling, like they've gone through this whole process, they've reached out, they've found their date, they've come for a tour, they've done all the planning, they've had their wedding date, and they're like walking out. Like,
hmm
what are you hoping that they're thinking or feeling
hmm
or kind of like saying about the booking house?
Yeah, like after their wedding day, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just want them to feel like they were taken care of. They had such an amazing experience from start to end. Because I feel like even during that like planning process, like we're still available to, bounce any ideas off of or like help with the timeline, obviously, again, with coordinating in house. So I just want them to feel like they were taken care of and they were heard and they got the experience and the wedding that they've always wanted. So I just feel like across the board, everything was good from start to finish.
Yeah, because
That's what I goal.
they have like there's so much time planning and so
Yeah,
many decisions.
right.
Um, but it does seem like there's way more to it than just like,
Mhm.
oh, this is a space where you get married. Like it
Right.
is,
Yeah.
but there's more to it than that.
Right. And there's always, yeah, little details that come up like once they do start planning. And I want couples to feel like they can reach out to us and ask questions or like, we get measurements a lot, like, what's the dimensions of the mantle? And which is good. Like they're planning and, we want to be there for them, just have that support system. And even like if, your parents are involved or whoever, or vendors that they're hiring, like we're like, hey, like, give them our contact information. We're happy to talk with them directly. Just so, again, kind of just take something off their plate. They don't have to worry about every single little detail.
Yeah. So I know there is a lot of space in here,
hmm
but I'm curious if you could give the listener, the watcher, if you're on
Yeah.
YouTube, hey, what's up? Could you just give us like a breakdown of like what spaces there are
hmm
and how they can be used and
Yeah.
kind of like in that, if you could just kind of in some way like, hey, what is unique and different about the booking
Yeah.
house than other venues?
Yeah. So I'm gonna start on the first floor because I feel like that's where my tour brain goes.
Yeah.
So like when you first walk in, we do have like a lobby area so they can decorate that, whether that's like your guest book, your gifts and cards, any decorations, welcome sign. So it's like just a nice little cozy, warm area to kind of first hang out at. We do have two getting ready suites. One's on the first floor, another one's on the third floor. So two separate spaces for you guys to, enjoy. Hang out with your friends, get ready, day of your wedding, which is nice. And then on the first floor, we also have our cocktail hour spaces for the weddings. So that's called the station room and the Whitaker room, usually used together. They're kind of adjoined rooms. And we can, again, host up to get to 200, 250 for a standing cocktail hour down there. So that's always nice. So kind of starting down there. Restrooms on all levels, which is good. So again, comfort for your guests. And then we have two options for ceremony site for weddings. So we have the atrium, which we've talked about, the new space that can host up to 200 seated for a ceremony. Has the garage door windows. So if you want more of that outdoor feel, we have that available. Another options if you're more into like the cozy kind of fireplace winter vibes. I feel like a lot of our fall and winter couples
Yeah.
prefer the Resarty room, which is our biggest room. Probably a lot
It's
of
right there in the
photos. Yeah,
fireplace if
right
you're
there.
looking at that.
It's kind of like I feel like our statement piece almost.
Yeah.
So we have the big chandelier, it has the columns, has the lights on around the beams, the exposed brick. So that's just kind of more like a cozy feel. So both are great options. Just depends on the style that you like. So we have two ceremony spot options. They both are located on the second floor, just in different rooms, obviously. And we are accessible, which is great. So we do have elevator lifts for any grandparents, elderly that are coming. It's just nice to have that option. So it's not again. We want people to feel
Yeah.
comfortable
Yeah.
here. Um, And then, so you have two options for ceremony. Again, go downstairs for cocktail hour. And then reception is on the second floor. So, again, that's the Rosardi room, our main space, where we can have the dinner tables, dance floor. And then the room we're sitting in here is the back of the Rosardi room. So, this is great for like your bars back here, your buffet or stations if you're having that style of dinner, dessert tables, photo booth. It's just nice to have a little bit of an extra room
Yeah.
rather than just one big room the whole night. And like kind of where we're sitting, like the lounge area is nice if you're not into dancing, but you want to be a part of everything.
Yeah, I do notice that it's like a little bit of a hangout space, and then
Yeah,
it's also like you might grab a drink and then maybe
right.
stand at one of the high tops and chat and
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like nice to have that little extra room. I feel like we've heard guests comment like, this was nice to have, like not just have to be at the dinner table or have to be dancing the whole time.
Yeah, I wish you would be dancing the whole time, but that's
Right.
just my preference.
Agreed. We love a dance. We
Yeah,
love a packed dance floor.
I love a packed dance floor.
Yes, favorite thing. Love it.
Um,
Yeah, so that's the rooms, and then the third floor is the crow's nest, is what it's called. It can serve as a second getting ready room. It also is like a cigar lounge too, which is cool. So
yeah,
kind of tying back in the history of the building originally being a tobacco warehouse. Yeah, so that's a great
and
space
there
to
is
hang out
such a
in.
cool little like loft off the
Yes.
back of the
Yeah.
crow's nest that you can see over top of where maybe it would be a ceremony, but
Hmm.
most of the time that I've been here, it's been a reception space.
Yes.
You just like see all the party from up there. And it's so fun.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that guests are maybe supposed to be going up there,
That's okay. Whatever.
but it's for photographers and videographers only.
Yeah.
Um, no, that's so fun. There's so many spaces in here,
Hmm.
and it does seem like, and maybe this is a tip for couples, is
Hmm.
like envisioning the ways that you can use the spaces in
Hmm.
a venue aside from it just being like, I like the aesthetic or I don't like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I like the space, I like the layout, and I can see this being a great cocktail space. I
Hmm.
can see this being like absolutely where we would want to have our ceremony.
Hmm.
And it seems like you guys have just like a lot of options, which is really cool.
Yeah.
When couples are in the booking process,
Mhm.
what are maybe one or two of your top questions you wish they were asking that they're not?
In the booking process. I guess just yeah, I guess about vendors. I feel like sometimes people don't even want to touch vendors yet, which I understand. It's a lot when you're first booking your wedding date, your venue. I get it.
Yeah,
But just kind of asking if if we do have preferred vendors. We do have a list of required caterers, so that is one category that we do kind of want approval on, just because as you know, like catering is
we
a
don't need the dry chicken.
huge part. Yeah, we don't want that dry chicken review.
I don't want the dry
No.
chicken, to be honest. But that's
uh,
just selfish.
yeah. But yeah, just kind of asking because that's like usually your next step then, like booking your vendors. So I think, yeah, if they want to talk about that, I usually try to sit down with them when they are booking. Obviously, we do have some couples that are out of state and, they want to do everything online, hop on a phone call with me, just kind of go over some of those questions. And again, just like to set their mind at ease. I want them to feel supported throughout the whole process. So feel free to ask any questions. Again, it can be overwhelming. So sometimes they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to ask.
Sometimes they have no questions and then they come
Right.
back with like 25.
Right,
Like, I
exactly.
got you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would just say, yeah, just feeling make sure you're feeling comfortable and just And it's okay if you don't have a question initially when you're booking it. If you're comfortable with everything, we try to go over, the main points of kind of what our standards are, policies, that kind of thing. But yeah, we know it's a lot of information overload.
Yeah. Do you find that couples are kind of doing like similar styles
Mhm.
based off of how the booking house kind of looks, just like as it sits?
Yeah. Yes and no. Like we definitely have seen people really like they love the flowers, they love the greens, kind of more of that like decoration style, which is amazing. And then we see people like love like all the uplighting or the lighting, the drapes, that kind of thing. So I feel like there's so many different ways that you can make it look amazing and like tailor it to your liking.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's not again, it's not super cookie cutter. Like you can put your own style on it.
Is there a way that the space has been used that like stands out as
Oh,
maybe like, and I know I'm putting you on the spot a
yeah.
little bit, but like
Yeah.
one of the more creative ways that
Yeah.
you've maybe seen it used?
I have. It immediately came to mind when
Oh,
you
I
started
love
saying
it.
that. Yes.
I was
No,
trying to give you a little
I
thinking time.
appreciate it. Yeah. So we had a wedding this past January, actually. Shout out to Courtney and Clay, one of our couples. They use the atrium for their dance floor. So, which
Oh,
is
that's so
something, again,
fun.
like we have, if you come up with ideas and we can make it realistically work, we're happy to kind of adjust how the rooms can
So
be
dinner over
worked.
here.
Yep. So dinner was still there. They did have a higher guest count. So, like, dance floor would have been a little tight. So
Gotcha.
So we were might have to like tear down tables, that kind of thing. So they were like, well, what if we have dance floor in the
And then
atrium?
it's like literally
Yep, it's right
a
like
little
next to the
walk.
bar, which is great.
Yeah,
So we opened up those doors,
that's so
invited
fun.
people in there, and they transformed it into like a Miami like club style. It was amazing. They had like these big like balloons that were like very tasteful. Like not, I feel like when I say balloons, it doesn't
Yeah, it
give it
does.
justice.
It reminds me of those balloons that we had as a kid on the rubber
Yes.
band where
Yes,
you'd like bounce
yes.
it off your head.
Yes.
Not
Right.
those kinds of
Right, no,
balloons.
not that.
They're
Uh,
probably listening and
yeah, they're
like,
like,
"What are you
"What are
doing?"
you like, ruining it now."
I'm glad
But
we didn't have that guy there. He's weird.
no, but it was just like they had like pinks in there. It was amazing. Like they
Yeah, it's
literally
so fun.
transformed it. So that was just something that again, like we're happy to adjust it to kind of make it work for your vision. But yeah, I would say that's definitely a memorable one. And everyone was like so into the dance floor. They were there the whole night, which was amazing. So
Yeah.
we
Oh
love that.
man, I love when that happens. It's
Yes.
so fun. Now, there are bound to be parts of like every wedding day that don't go as planned,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Your coordinating brain's like, "Yep."
Yeah.
Um, I'm just curious from like the booking house perspective,
Mhm.
like how do you guys jump in? You kind of mentioned a little bit,
Mhm.
but like jumping in, trying to navigate those
Yeah.
things, keep it off the couple. Like,
Right.
how are you guys kind of navigating all that? And then even more specifically, like navigating that alongside of other vendors that might have
Mm-hmm.
hiccups and stuff that they're managing as well.
Yeah, I feel like when we initially reach out to the vendors, we're working with for that wedding, we always, say, we're here to help. So like let us know, I think communication is a big thing. I think just going up to the vendor, privately being like, what's going on? Like how what can we do to fix this?
Yeah, not like what's going on.
Yeah, like what can we
No,
do?
but really, what's going on?
Yeah. So I just think, yeah, just kind of again, like going back to that team oriented, like what can we all do to pitch in to make it work?
Yeah.
Just because we don't want to get, the couple involved, or even sometimes like if there is like a point person, whether it be a family member, just maybe seeing if they can help if we can't handle it internally. But I feel like we just try to, make it work behind the scenes, do what we can. And again, it kind of goes back to it's nice when we work with vendors that we know,
Yeah.
and kind of already have that relationship built that like we can kind of lean on each other. So yeah, I would say just try to handle it as much as we can behind the
No,
scenes.
I know. Yeah, behind the scenes as much as it can be
Yes,
behind the
yes.
scenes. Um, when you kind of have like a hospitality side of things
Hmm.
as a venue. You kind of have. I mean, I guess we kind of do as well
Hmm.
in some ways, but more so in the like the hosting kind of
Hmm.
mentality. You have a little bit of a hospitality thing. You
Yeah.
have a little bit of that like professionalism.
Hmm.
I'm curious like how you've managed the team in
Hmm.
some ways and others to like hold up to that professionalism, but also
Yeah.
be like as hospitable as you can.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like our team, like we all really understand like our values, kind of how we want to present ourselves, our brand, like you're saying. I feel like we've just been very lucky with with the team that we have, especially again, Aaliyah and Emily, kind of like our main team with me. They just like we all have different personalities, but we all kind of balance each other out, which is amazing. And we know how to have fun. Don't get us wrong, but like we could be obviously very serious and professional. So I feel like just having people that understand that, and
Yeah.
again understand the brand, the values, I think that's how we just kind of make that so cohesive. And even if they're working with someone else, not me, they're still getting that same experience. And I feel like that's what it comes down to, just just kind of teaching that, and again, a lot of that just came naturally to them. So
Yeah, I was gonna say like I would imagine there's a vendor maybe that they're trying to scale and they're
hmm.
like, how do we get a team to be on the same page?
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
they're maybe not like, talk about this all the time. It's like if you're not the owner,
Hmm.
no one's really gonna care as much as
Hmm.
the owner cares.
Sure.
In most cases.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some where owners are like, yo, do whatever, I don't really care. But in most, if not
Yeah.
mostly all of them,
Hmm.
how do you get those people that are a part of the team
Hmm.
or new people that are going to be joining the team to be
Hmm.
like bought into all those things that you were mentioning?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like, I mean, going back to our owners, like they very trust us. They're very trustworthy of us, which is awesome. Like they value us, and we know that they have our back. Like if we make a decision, they trust us enough to do that, which is amazing. And I know not everyone is works like that,
Yeah.
but yeah, just kind of bringing someone into it. I feel like just kind of observing it and just kind of like explaining kind of this is what you do have the power to make decisions with the brand in mind, but kind of going back to this is our values, this is kind of what we expect, that kind of thing. So I feel like just kind of making sure they understand
Yeah.
it.
No, it's true. I mean, it sounds simple, but
Yeah.
um I'm just like, man, every time, not every time. I'm like making generalizations,
Yeah.
but I hear a lot of times where photographers maybe have tried to scale and they're
Mhm.
like realizing that no one is ever going to take the intentionality that they take
Sure.
day of if they're
Mhm.
trying to kind of build out a team.
Mhm.
But it sounds like, if we can have the solid brand foundation and like bought into that,
Yeah.
then it can
Yeah.
kind of work that way.
Absolutely.
Where are you seeing the booking house going in the
Mhm.
next like 5 or 10 years?
Yeah. I hope we do something else cool. I mean, we did the atrium, so we probably won't do a big project like that for a while. JP's like,
The
stop.
Atrium round two.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, don't say
We're
that. I'm
not
not
doing
doing
that.
that.
But I feel like we just try to keep things fresh. So whether that's just doing like a little cosmetic update somewhere in some of the rooms, and just yeah, just kind of again building if we can add any other services, just to enhance. Not that we want to step on other toes of vendors, but just again, if we see a gap in somewhere, we want to fill that in. So I think yeah, just kind of still growing our team, expanding. We love our team. I personally do.
Yeah.
So I don't want anyone to get burnt out. And that's obviously a big thing in the wedding
Yeah.
industry.
Happens a
Burnout's
lot.
real.
Yeah.
So making sure we have enough team members that again are kind of follow our values, but we can kind of split up the work so we're not all burnt out once November, December runs or comes around. So yeah, so I think just yeah, making sure we grow the team still, keep everyone. Yeah, and we've been fortunate that a lot of our core team has been here for many years, which is awesome.
Oh,
So
it's telling
yeah,
from
yeah,
what you're saying. Like you're saying a lot of nice things about the
yeah,
owners,
yeah.
but it seems like those are true things and not
Hmm.
just like
Right.
niceties that
Not
you're
just
kind of
blowing
just
them up.
throwing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're listening and like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, she should do more podcasts. Let's get her out there.
I love it.
No, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm excited for the next 5 to 10 years just to see. I mean, like the atrium space. I was like, what? What is this? And it's amazing. So I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with and like how you develop your services and truly to benefit the couples. Like that's the end of the day for us. Like we want the couples to feel the benefit of those things that we're doing to like build and grow our businesses,
Mhm.
and hope that other vendors are feeling the same way too. But Brittany, thank you so much for being on.
Yes, thank
I
you.
loved having you on and hearing all the things about the Booking House. Where can people find and follow along with what the Booking House is doing?
Absolutely. Yes, we do have Instagram, TikTok, we're even on. We're a little trendy.
Wow.
But the best way to contact us is through our website. We do have a contact form. A lot of details are on there too if you're kind of just initially searching. So definitely reach out on our website. But we are on social media too if you want to kind of look at the pretty pictures.
Cool. Yeah, all of that stuff will be linked down in the description below. So if you're a link clicker, go ahead and click the link there, and make sure you follow along with what they're doing. Do you have things that are coming up that are exciting?
Yeah, so we're really excited. We have an open house, wedding open house we have annually earlier in the year. So we're really excited to connect with couples that are engaged, or maybe you're starting planning, looking for vendors. It's just like a fun day to kind of kickstart your planning. So we're excited.
No, it kind of like kickstart the season too. It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's so fun. Thank you so much for being on. I hope everyone listening got a ton of information about the Booking House and just what it takes to be a manager, kind of like running the space. I know you're not like the owner. Usually it's like the owner that we get, but it's so fun to kind of hear your journey in all of this as well. If you're watching on YouTube, it would be awesome. It'd be so helpful if you could give us a thumbs up on this video and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes that are coming out for the preferred list. And if you're listening on a podcast app, how's it going? Hopefully you're having a good walk or workout or whatever you're doing. Drive. I don't know. If you're driving around, listening to the episode. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And it would be amazing. It would be so helpful if you could leave us a review, just letting us know what you think of the show and what you're thinking of all these amazing vendors that we've been having on. But that's all for this episode. And we'll catch you next time on the preferred list.
Thank you.